Hello, everybody. I'm Gerri Willis. A meeting between congressional leaders and the White House to avert the fiscal cliff scheduled for tomorrow. But guess what? The president won't be attending it. Secretary Tim Geithner will. But regardless of his no-show tomorrow, President Obama saying he's hopeful to get a deal done by Christmas. He's not inspiring much confidence, though, by renewing his push for stimulus for small businesses as key Democratic leaders keep refusing to put entitlements on the table. For more on all this, Republican Congressman James Lankford of Oklahoma. Congressman, welcome back to the show. It's always great to have you here.
Thank you very much.
The president this morning had some strong words for Congress. Here's what he had to say.
If Congress does nothing, every family in America will see their taxes automatically go up at the beginning of next year. Right now, as we speak, Congress can pass a law that would prevent a tax hike on the first $250,000 of everybody's income.
There's a president calling out Congress. What do you have to say, Congressman?
Yeah, here we go again in the middle of this. The House actually passed all of our tax things in April. We passed all the sequestration documents in May, and we've waited for the Senate since May to reciprocate on that. The Senate and the White House have both sat on it, and they said, we'll see you in the lame duck time period. Now it's lame duck, and they walk in and say, let's get started, when we actually finished all of our work in May on it. So it's been very, very frustrating in the process. It's the same song, 38th verse on it. We're waiting on the Senate to get it going. Now we're actually going, and the president now says you can just clear all the table on this. The reality is this is not a tax issue. It never has been a tax issue. We have the same amount of revenue coming in 2012 that we had coming in 2007, but we spend $1 trillion more per year now than we did 5 years ago. This is a spending issue. Spending,
or revenue, that is. The amount of money taken in by the federal government has recovered and doing much better. But I want to turn your attention to a conversation that's been going on for several days lately. The most recent adherent, Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole, who's saying, look, Republicans need to compromise. They need to keep those tax cuts in place for people earning $250,000 and less. He says it's time to make a change. And now people on the Hill are saying that the GOP is splintering. What do you say?
No, that's not true. Actually, what Tom was trying to say was it's a tactical thing. Tom is against raising taxes on any level. We talked about this earlier today. He's against raising taxes on all folks, but he's saying we do have full agreement with the president on this group, the group that's $200,000 and less. Let's clear it off the table and make the negotiations deal with the spending cuts in the upper bracket. But he's against raising rates on every single one of those. So that's been a clarification.
You know, what about Saxby Chambliss? What about Bob Corker? How about Lindsey Graham and all these people in Washington, elected representatives, now saying, you know, I'm rethinking whether there should be a no tax pledge?
Sure, that's on the Senate side. I can tell you on the House side, we put revenue on the table a very long time ago, as in the last summer of 2011, and said if we reform the tax code, we clear out a lot of these junk deductions that are out there for the upper brackets, we will bring in more revenue, but we'll also simplify the system. And at its best, the tax code is designed to be as simple as possible, which is a convoluted mess right now. And if you clear all that out, people actually going back to making profit. When I was growing up, profit used to be a 6-letter word. Now apparently it's a 4-letter word, and people say if you make a profit, they want to punish you.
You know, if you made it simple, people wouldn't recognize it. I got to tell you, they wouldn't know what to do.
I understand, but that's the way we get more taxes in, is to have people make more profit. Then we actually have more tax revenue.
What about what Erskine Bowles had to say? I want you to listen to him.
Okay.
I'm not encouraged or discouraged. I'm really worried that we have a real probability we could go over this cliff, and I think that would be catastrophic.
Now, here's somebody who co-chaired the Debt Commission, saw all his recommendations ignored, and now he's saying there's a pretty darn good chance, a 33% chance, that we're going to go right over that cliff. Or if we don't go over the cliff, it's going to be some kind of quasi-reform that happens, nothing major. What do you make of that?
Yeah, our hope is that there's major. We've laid the groundwork in our Ways and Means Committee this entire year for major tax reform, and have set that out to say we want to do that. We put that in front of the president to say we want to do major tax reform. All the things the president says he wants to do, we've actually laid those things out and said if you reform the tax system, you'll get more income coming back in the other way. Our frustration is in the Obamacare taxes, That kicks in January the 1st of next year. So the people making $200,000 and more already have a tax increase in their rate starting January the 1st.
That's right.
The president wants an additional tax increase on top of the Obamacare tax increase on the exact same group. And we're saying, whoa, that's not right.
It's not just that. I mean, it's layer after layer of taxes on everything from income to investment income to dividends. The list goes on and on. But I want to ask you this question, and quickly, we're running out of time. You know, stocks went up today, and sometimes investors have insights that other people don't. They believe there are signs of a deal. What do you say?
I believe there are signs of a deal as well. John Boehner, we met with him this morning in our leadership group and with the whole conference, and he's still optimistic that there's going to be a deal, and he's still working on it. He says the framework is there to get it done. We just need all the players to actually engage. We need the president to stay in town and actually engage in the issues of trying to solve this. And again, we go back to, we laid the framework for this down in May of this past year, and we can still function on that framework and move off and solve it from there. But it needs to be resolved. We totally agree.
All right. Congressman, come back soon. Good to talk to you.
Will do. Thank you.
All right. Now we want to know what you think. Here's our question tonight. Should entitlement